What's going on, everybody? You're watching and listening to the Impact Radio Show. We're about to go live right now. Welcome, everybody, to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. This is your host, Nahshon Nicks. We got a host of awesome guests with us on tonight. So you want to be sure to stay locked, stay loaded, stay tuned, because this is one show you don't want to miss. I got to put it out there. It is Black Music Month. So I want you to go on ahead and support one of the oldest Black-owned newspapers in the South, the Florida Star newspaper. We have over 30,000 subscribers between South Georgia with the Georgia Star and North Florida with the Florida Star. TheFloridaStar.com, TheFloridaStar.com, or info@TheFloridaStar.com, info@TheFloridaStar.com. Promote your product, promote your business, promote your service, promote your event, promote your ministry. Once again, that's TheFloridaStar.com, TheFloridaStar.com. And once again, support one of the oldest Black-owned newspapers in the South. With us on tonight, we got Reverend Dexter Henderson. How you feeling on tonight, sir?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're excited to have you with us. Also, we got Mr. Raymond. How you feeling on tonight?
Oh, God bless. Humble. Thank you for having me on your show, brother. Thank you.
Yes, and we got Miss Vanessa Davis coming in. She's going to be tuning in shortly. You know, she always has to give us a scoop. What's the word on the street? What's happening in the city and the surrounding areas? One of the things that I look at pertaining to social justice, as I shared with you briefly on last week, I said, well, maybe the best way to define social justice is to take social status and injustice and then define those terms. Social status meaning like a hierarchy. You got the lower class, you got the working class or the middle class, and then you have the upper class. And then looking at injustice, basically when those who are in power fail to do what is right. So basically an injustice is any wrong that never got corrected. So when we look at social justice, we look at those who have constantly been overlooked, overseen, or possibly even oppressed. And there are some things that need to be made right. Once again, if you're hit from behind in Florida, to no fault of your own, whoever hits the person in the rear, that person is at fault. When they come out of that vehicle and say, I'm sorry, that's called repentance. But when they show you their insurance policy and say, listen, we want to cover all the damages because you weren't at fault. We want to make sure that your medical is taken care of. We want to make sure that any compensation that you missed because you could not work because of no fault of your own or because of any avenues or opportunities to excel were at no fault of your own. We want to make this right. That's called reparations. That's called repairing a wrong. But with that being said, I want to pitch it over to one of my good friends, one of my cohorts in the doctoral program at New York Theological Seminary, Reverend Dexter Henderson. How you feeling on tonight, sir?
I'm feeling really great. It is truly an honor to be here tonight. Am I the only one here that's from out of town? Am I the only person on tonight that's outside of Florida? Greetings. I just want to greet you all from Brooklyn, New York. It is truly a blessing to be here tonight. Yes, sir. So would you like me to address what you just said in terms of
how do you define social justice? Basically, what is the Lord sharing with you, or what's your perspective on the timeliness or basically from George Floyd to now, from Emmett Till to now? What do you feel like? What's going on in the atmosphere pertaining to America?
Well, I would put it this way. You know, I think I'll go start from the very basics. Jesus, I'll start with the scripture. Jesus, in his mission statement in Luke 4:18 says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. That is the first thing Jesus says, that he's anointed. And so if we are followers of Christ, those of us who profess to be Christians, the first question is, if we're going to actually follow Jesus's footsteps, then we must also do and prioritize what Jesus did and prioritized. And the one thing Jesus always prioritized was looking out for those who were at the bottom of society. And so to imply that social justice is in some way outside of the church's responsibility, I think is a misunderstood concept that was probably given to us by our enslavers, our ancestors during their enslavement.
Yes, and now when you look at it pertaining to application, what is it that the church can do to help make this right?
Well, I think the first thing that we have to do is to understand the context of our people, the context of our trauma, our generational trauma, and realize that the things that we have endured have given us a unique set of circumstances, and many of our people have been dehumanized to the point where they have lost hope. And when the people have lost hope, they lose their mission. And so we have to build them from the inside out. And to do that, we have to reinterpret the way we teach them the scriptures, because they were taught to us just to make us better slaves, not to free us.
Wow. So when you look at this liberation style of ministering, what are some of your points of reference, or what are some of your individuals of reference that we may not be aware of?
Well, absolutely. First, Dr. James Cone, The Cross and the Lynching Tree, Black Theology, Black Power. You have Dr. Aubrey Hendricks, who wrote The Politics of Jesus. And I think that, and there's so many, Dr. Howard Thurman, Jesus and the Disinherited. There are so many of our biblical scholars these days who have recognized the need for us to be able to define who God is to us for ourselves, and that we are just as legitimate in defining who God is to us as our European counterparts.
Wow, wow. Something that you had shared with me, and matter of fact, to our entire class, you took an analogy from Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Would you feel comfortable sharing that with the listener and viewing audience, because it really held some weight for us?
Well, yes, absolutely. Sometimes, you know, the Black church can be accused of being a white church in blackface. And Dr. Jeremiah Wright famously told the story, and he called it How to Make a Sheepdog. That's the story you're referring to. Is that correct, Nahshon?
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, you preached about it as well last Sunday. Go ahead.
Yes, I used it this Sunday in my sermon. And Dr. Wright simply said, how do you make a sheepdog? You take a German Shepherd or a Collie at birth, and you take it away from being nursed by its natural mother. You put it in into a litter of sheep, so it can be nursed by the sheep along with the other baby sheep. Let it grow up with the sheep, let it get nurtured with the sheep. And when it becomes of adult age, if another Collie or German Shepherd of its own kind comes to attack the sheep, it will kill its very own to protect the sheep. And so he used the analogy, and he used say a Ben Carson or J.C. Watts, and he said, if you allow them to nurse at the teat of Harvard and Yale, when they come out, they will do the very same to protect their oppressors over and against their own people. And so what we want to do is we need to wash some of that out of our minds, our colonized minds, and free ourselves so we can see God through our own eyes.
Yes. And Reverend, how do people find you if they want to follow you or want to invite you out to come and speak?
Sure. I'm on Facebook at Dexter Henderson, also on Instagram at Rev Dexter Henderson, and also you can email me at revdhenderson@outlook.com. And so I'm on all social media platforms. And so you can please, anybody interested can look me up. I love to talk about this, and I love to discuss this, because I believe it's a message that we need to get out to our people so that they can see that the Black church is still relevant. Yes.
Thank you. Listen, you're listening to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. When you come back, we'll hear from Mr. Raymond. He got some great events coming up, as well as some products that he wants to make you aware of. So once again, you listen to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. This is your host, Nahshon Nicks, and we'll be right back after these messages. Yes. Mr. Raymond, how you feeling? You still good? Can you hear me?
Who you talking to?
You.
Me? Oh, yes. What you call me?
Yes, Raymond.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm
it's
sorry.
Raymond, right?
I'm sorry. I'm over here writing notes from what the Reverend spit out. Are you kidding me? Oh, no. That whole Scriptures weren't taught to us to make, scriptures were taught to us to make us better slaves, not to free us. And that breakdown of the sheepdog wrote it down. Yes. Yes. I was writing it down. Yeah, I'm good. Talk to me, sir. Talk to me. It's good.
Yes, we're still live on social media. So if you want to tell them how they can purchase your book, hold on. You can do that right now because they're still live. Miss Vanessa, go ahead.
Raymond Good. You can find me at Raymond
Yes.
Good.
Welcome back to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. This is your host, Nahshon Nicks. Please get up, get out, and subscribe to the Florida Star newspaper. Do business, promote your product, your service, your event. TheFloridaStar.com, TheFloridaStar.com, or info@TheFloridaStar.com. Yes, you're just listening to Miss Raymond. Miss Raymond, at this time, you got an opportunity to share with our listening and viewing audience about your events as well as your products.
I am Raymond Good, author of 5 books. I have Traces of You, Road to Oprah, Through Their Eyes, 350 Goals of a Leader, and How to Write and Print Your Own Book for under $300. The 2 events that I have coming up is on June 16th at downtown at the East Union Street, and also at the Rick's Theater on the 19th. It is based off of my book and my stage production, Through Their Eyes, and Through Their Eyes, with every newspaper news story, a story that I heard personally, I put myself in the victim's shoes and wrote their stories. I've taken several other stories out of the book and put it on stage. There's a live band that performs during set change that correlate with the stories, and there's different painters from Jacksonville who will be live painting those emotions as well, with that fit along with the stories as well. So this production we're calling the Ancestors Walk, because we're choosing different period pieces from up to date of 2021 and date them back to the times of slavery times, or times that we were enslaved.
Now, why is this so important? Miss Vanessa, you can jump in as well. Why? What birthed this in you? Where did this fire come from?
10 years ago, I went through a bad depression and suicidal phase myself. And as I was coming out of it, I learned that I had the skill of listening to other people, and they would just tell me their stories. And when they would tell me their stories, I learned that emotions, as long as you have those same emotions of some kind of trauma that you went through, you can displace somebody else's stories. That's how my writing style is. So when I was coming out of my depression and suicide, the creator was talking to me, and that enabled Traces of You. So Traces of You, I started interviewing 50 people. I interviewed 50 people with 15 questions, and then I turned their answers to marriage proposal stories. So it was the depression that I was going through and the love stories of other people that started to pour me out. When it was over, when this book was over, I was like, well, what do I do with this? Because I interviewed everyone from 18 to 82, Black, white, Asian, gay, straight. Everybody has a story, but it all ends in a love form. And the spirit said, Oprah. So December 31st, 2010, I quit my 3 jobs at home. I stepped out on faith to travel to Chicago to promote my first book, Traces of You there. On my way there, my car broke down in Indiana. I woke up in a hospital in Pittsburgh, and I was homeless in Chicago. And I had the idea that to chase my dream, I had a 1% chance of meeting her in Chicago. And I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I have a 0% chance of meeting her in Richmond, Virginia. But that's what you call chasing your dream. And then when Road to Oprah, when that mission was over, because I stayed out there until her show was over, that's when Through Their Eyes came up. That's when the idea came up. And then that moved to 350 Goals of a Leader. Now, 350 Goals of a Leader was inspired by my first meeting with Mr. Steve Harvey, where he asked me leadership questions that I couldn't answer at the time. He told me, go home, write down 350 goals, and then come back and see him, thus inspiring 350 Goals of a Leader with the dedication to Mr. Steve Harvey. And then I had to give back to the community. And the same skill that I used to pull me out of my depression mode was writing. So my 5th book became How to Write and Print Your Own Book for under $300.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, Miss Vanessa, thank you for reaching out to Mr. Raymond to bring him on, because I've read some books about being empathetic, and some folks would call it the dark side of leadership, and being able to take negative trauma and turn it into fuel for your fire and fuel for your faith. And And Ms. Raymond, I thank God for the fire that you have to put it into writing and to be able to share stories from our ancestors as well as your personal story and the fire. And so I want to make sure I got this. On the road to Oprah, you did meet her. Is that correct? Or you just
I haven't met her.
You haven't met her. You still standing outside.
That is the main goal. That is the number one. Even when 350 goals of a leader came out, that is my number one goal. And that is, and so when I'm teaching. So when I'm teaching and when I'm doing my motivational speaking and we talk about short-term goals and long-term goals, I still got to complete my short-term goal and the vision that I had for me before I can move to anything else. Now, while I am still on this road, I mean, the books, the plays, the motivational speaking, all that just came into play, but it's still to meet, still to finish. Still got to finish that mission, that vision that the Creator gave me.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, talk to us about this event on the 16th. What is it called?
It is called Through Their Eyes, the Ancestors Walk. It is the end. I am doing the final show of the Juneteenth event. So on the 14th, I believe it's throwback to old school style party. And then on the 15th, there's another event. And then I'm doing my event on the 16th. It will be from East Union. So one more time. Keep
going. I want to make sure that the listening and viewing audience gets this information.
It's on 700 East Union Street. It's a warehouse there. Okay. It is Suite H2. We have performers. We have Jacksonville performers: Ryan Sinclair, Vanessa Atani, Claudine Smith, Samantha Corbett, Bonnie McIntyre, Tyra Stanley. We have a comedy show from comedians that's coming from out of town of Benny Blanco Perry and Jay Brown. Our singers of the evening is Chris Williams and Jermica Monet. And we have a band coming from Orlando called Our Anthem. And this band is made up of disability, of people who had disability and overcome and became musicians. So the keyboard player has cerebral palsy. The drummer has 6 fingers. Mm-hmm. So they all overcome and become just this great band to become musicians. So it's just going to be a night filled of all the creative talents coming together at once for a purpose.
That band is excellent. That band is, they got some original songs too. So, and you heard my name, right, Nahshon? You heard my name? Did you hear my name?
That's a
out there too.
Yes, but Vanessa is a headliner. Her piece that she does, you have to see it. You have to see it because it's a part of history. And as she mentioned the music, she's right. The music are pieces that would take you back, of course, from 2021 back to the days of our enslavement.
Well, I feel liberated over here. How you feeling up there in New York, Rev?
I'm excited. I wanted to ask, is this going to be on social media? Is this going to be on Zoom anyway to see it virtually? Or this is only live?
It's only live. It's only live. And that's because I respect the theater first and foremost. If you start putting it on Zoom and people start seeing it, then you stop people from having date night. You stop them from rushing home, putting on clothes, want to go out, want to have a dinner, want to do that's what theater is. It's not a movie, it's a theater.
You hear this, man?
I hear you, my brother.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's gonna be somebody. Remember them bootleg VCR tapes? Is there anybody that's old enough to remember bootleg VCR tapes?
You.
That remembers bootleg VCR tapes? Like, how in the world do you record the whole movie, feed the kids, talk the whole thing? I'm done. You finish, you done. I'm done. But listen, everybody. Go ahead, Rev. You about to say something?
Yeah, I was about to say. How do you
say this? I needed to say this before I get killed here in Brooklyn. I serve as an associate pastor at the St. Paul Community Baptist Church here in Brooklyn, New York, where my lead pastor is Reverend Dr. David K. Brawley. The St. Paul Community Baptist Church has a Facebook page. So if you want to hear messages you better say something about the church. Go ahead, keep going. If you want messages that are liberating. Yes, that was Jesus calling.
That's Jesus on the main line.
Liberating messages. You can go to the St. Paul Community Baptist Church, Brooklyn, New York's Facebook page, and my God, and
that's what to say.
you can find us there. Sorry for that. Thank you.
Listen, we're coming back. I got a guest that just came in. Put a quick plug in for us, Nehemiah.
So, okay, hey everybody, my name is Nehemiah Rutledge, and I am a corporate wellness and preventative health coach, also just a personal trainer in layman's terms.
Yeah, well, he's in the booth with me. You've been listening to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. When we come back, we're going to get some updates from Vanessa Atani. I think that's what she's going by tonight. She typically, Vanessa from the beach and bougie. We was out there today.
Here we go.
Why in the world do y'all have a red light every 100 feet when you get out to the beach? My goodness, I started to leave my car at the red light, just started walking to the event. I can't take it no more. Listen to the Impact Radio Show. I'm presented by the Florida Star newspaper. This is your host, Nahshon Nicks. We'll be right back after these messages. Now, we're still live on social media.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
What's your business?
Corporate wellness and preventative health. So ultimately personal training. And so we serve like companies and also individual, residential and commercial.
Cool.
Yeah.
What would be a big tip for people right now as they come out of COVID and get back with people? You know, mental health, people have been inside for a long time. So what is one big tip that you would just give to the general public right now?
So one big tip that I would say is combating weight loss and just being mentally prepared to get back out there and get going, and try not to move too fast because you want to avoid injury. So just start things off slow. Just know that, hey, you're not where you were last year. You're a better you mentally. You're a better you overall. But as far as your muscles are concerned, you don't want to strain them too much. Okay.
Welcome back to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. This is your host, Nahshon Nicks. We've been listening to Reverend Dexter, Henderson, Mr. Raymond. Is it pronounced good or good?
Good.
Good, right? And Vanessa Atani, she was just asking my in the booth guest a question about what is a good tip? And this is it Body Paradox, and you're the CEO.
Yep.
You're the founder.
Yep.
And man, this man got a contract. Can I tell him who you got?
You can tell him. Tell him.
Listen. I'm just trying to work with some kids in some schools. This joker done went and got a contract. Y'all ready for this? Walt Disney.
Ah.
You say,
here you go. You trying to find Oprah. This joker done found Mickey Mouse.
I'm not paying a mouse.
Yes. Congratulations. Yes.
Yes. And so like I said, for our listener audience, they didn't hear the tips that you were saying. So just speak in the microphone for about 30 seconds for us to kind of give them those tips and then tell them how they can find you to get more information, because he also does personal training as well.
Yeah. So one of the tips that I was giving out earlier was that, hey, now since we're past that COVID phase, just understanding where you are mentally, just know that you don't want to get back into things too quickly. You want to learn, in order to combat that weight loss, you just want to make sure that you move slowly into it, but then also you can still create a vigorous program within those limits. And it's okay if you feel like you have some setbacks, but you're going to be able to do it. You'll get back on track where you were before. That's just overall. Yeah.
You know, they're talking about that COVID-20, or is it COVID? Vanessa, is it COVID-20 or COVID?
It's the COVID. I got the COVID-15.
If you have not vaccinated yourself, please hit up your nearest CVS, Walgreens, they're everywhere. Department of Health. Get yourself a quick little vaccine. It doesn't hurt. It's no more than any other shot. Mask up when you're out. Juneteenth is coming up. Okay, so we can go out. I want you guys to be safe, so we can go out. Juneteenth, we got a lot of stuff going on at the Ritz Theater. There's going to be a pageant. There's going to be a parade out there. We all know Melon Market is coming through for Juneteenth. T-Posh got something going on. She's got the block party. There's, I was just checking out Afro Wave party coming up. But, you know, there's tons of things coming up on and around. Please start getting your plans together for Juneteenth. We celebrating all the teens. Okay, so 13th through. Get your week and on July 4th, but I'm not going there today.
Yes. All right. And now in so we got the Juneteenth coming up. You mentioned T-Posh, you mentioned the Ritz, and then and that event is going to be where at?
Melanin Market?
No. The event that he was telling us about with the live band, the
700 East Union Street.
700 East is what's the name of the building? Is there a name for that building, or is it 700 East Union?
I just know it's a warehouse. I've only been here for 2 months, so I'm saying.
Like you might be trying to make a movie. I don't know about you. I gotta watch it. And y'all might be a part of the script, don't even know it.
It's a big old warehouse.
Hey, yeah, you're gonna have to sign a disclaimer form when you come up in that bad boy. But listen, but there's something going on. You said every night for 3 nights as well, correct?
Yes, 14th, 15th, and 16th, and they can find all that on my social media page, on Haraka Nicole social media page. Yes.
Yeah. And I love it. And Reverend Henderson, so what do we got going up there in New York for our listening audience and viewing audience? What do y'all have coming up that we might be able to jump in on or participate with?
Wow. You know, New York City is really, you know, just reopening pretty much. Even our church, we are still having services virtually. You know, everything that we've done, and we just bought a tent, so we're going to have our services outdoors for a while, because I think just as the brother said about physical fitness, a lot of people are psychologically have been affected by this pandemic, and you know, we're going to have to slowly integrate people back in. A lot of fear, a lot of unknown. So New York is slowly opening back up. Broadway's about to open back up. So the city that never sleeps is always open for you guys to come. And so if you ever want to check us out, just to hear what God is saying through the liberated voice of the St. Paul Community Baptist Church, just watch us on Facebook.
All right. Mr. Nehemiah, any closing thoughts for our listener viewing on?
Yes, sure. So if anyone needs to contact me, as a matter of fact, I'll plug this in if you all don't mind. So I wrote a book called Just Tell Me What to Do. And it's on Amazon. It's for $5.99. And it has everything in there. It has your meal plan. It just helps get you started wherever you are. Because of this pandemic, yeah, that's why I created. So you can find it on Amazon. It's called Just Tell Me What to Do. And you can look for me on every social media platform. You type in Body Paradox, you'll find it. You Google Body Paradox, you Facebook it, Instagram it, Twitter, Body Paradox.
Yes. Vanessa Tani tonight. Any closing thoughts?
Justice for Little Red.
And tell us about that. Who's Little Red?
I wrote an article about him in the Florida Star. Please get your subscription. It's only like less than $100. Come on, y'all. Get a subscription. But he was shot out east by a police officer. And yeah, you know how that goes after that. So his name was Vernell Bing. And you can look up his story on my article on the Florida Star.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. We actually had his mother on the radio with us a couple months ago. So we never take it lightly, and I believe it's still an open investigation. As we're closing out tonight's show, as I always say, knowledge is power. Knowledge of self is powerful, and knowledge of God is the source of all power. We're asking everyone to please get up, get out, and support one of the oldest Black-owned newspapers in the South, the Florida Star newspaper. As I always say, I love you, God bless you, and good night.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Thank you.